Well,
Yes.
just a message to the community here. I tell you, I'm from Montana, and I've been in fighting fire in just about 40 out of 50 states. And I can tell you that this community, hands down, is the most welcoming, friendly, understanding, supportive community I have ever been in, and it's not even close. It's by a factor of 10.
Wow.
If I could package what you have down here and ship it, I'd put a trailer on the back of the truck. So our hat's off to you all, being so understanding, patient with us. It's uncommon and quite welcome. We'll never forget it.
Well, it's so mutual from the group of us here, just a few, Mr. Johnson. And you were Northern Rockies National Incident Management Team, and you were also just explaining that this fire, although it's upsetting, you say there was, you're guessing, like a 10% mortality rate for the trees, as opposed to we look at this and say, oh no, is the forest being destroyed? You had something to say to that as well.
Absolutely. You know, it's hard to determine now. You'll know much more in the spring, you know. But what we really what we burn is really the understory. So the light fuels down below, and we tried to get as much of the brush as we could. The marine layer kept everything pretty wet.
Yeah, thank God.
And so really it was ideal conditions for underburning. And you know,
Thanks,
this,
Chris.
you
We're
can
gonna
still
go.
do it. Hey,
Cheers.
you betcha.
So much.
You know, the local folks here, they can continue to underburn in areas over time, over years. Now that a lot of those heavies are out,
Yeah.
they can maintain that,
right.
you know.
Right.
And so I think what you'll find, you'll be quite surprised in the spring at the number of trees that are still up on the hill.
The number
Wow.
of trees that are still up on the hill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So I've listened to a lot of George Worthner, who I'm sure you know that name.
Absolutely.
And he's out of Bozeman, I guess he
Yeah.
lives, but he works out of Missoula.
Yep.
And he was saying also that, sorry, the traffic, that you know, fires are necessary and inevitable, and they don't necessarily destroy a forest, although obviously they're a threat to all the buildings and homes that are in them.
Yeah, you know, I'm from Montana, and people move to Montana for the scenery, you know, and everything that's native in my home is there because it's fire dependent. The cones on the trees open when fire comes over. The competition around the trees that are fire dependent are cut back by fire. Native Americans lit fires after their hunting forays in the fall. The last thing they would do was burn that area so they know there'd be feed for the horses and feed for the game the next year. So fire is a necessary change agent. It's never too good to try to manage the landscape with wildfire. We try to put fire on under our terms, under conditions on our terms, and we tell communities really, how do you want your smoke and how do you want your wildfire? Do you want it in a controlled manner or in a suppressive manner when it's a wildfire? So.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this forest, this stuff that's burning now has not burned in years, in decades, right?
Since 1995, the Vision Fire, yeah, burned up, started in the hills and burned right behind our fire. And so, yeah, it's first time in 25 years, and I'm not sure what the fire regime here is, how often it returns. Probably not much. Judging by the total size of the timber, bay trees.
Yeah.
Trees.
Yeah.
So in that green layer, I doubt it burned very often at all. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just showing some of the fire here over the road noise just so we can get context. I had a reflector on, have you put your back to it and send this into ABC News. I mean, what you're saying, Mr. Johnson, is really helpful
You bet.
to a lot
Yesterday
of
there
people.
wasn't much open flame that we could see from the air.
Okay.
It's really just kind of underburning and
Okay.
just doing a real fine job, really.
Wow.
And that's why you guys sent out a report recently that it's being contained and it's looking good and you're not freaking out. It's not like, oh no, evacuate more. You're actually easing some of the evacuation orders, right?
Yeah, well, we make recommendations to the sheriff's office, and they make the eventual order. But yeah, right now, there's only the Silver Hills community, Inverness Park, and then just the park offices there at Bear Valley Visitor Center that are under a warning as of 6 o'clock tonight. We're just a bit ahead of that.
Wow.
But that's awful nice when we can leave and the sheriff can rescind those orders. It's just it's a real nice way to leave a fire and not escalating up, but kind of escalating down.
So are you
So-
leaving now then?
A new team from
Okay.
Nevada will take over
Okay,
on
wow.
Monday. They're a Type 3 team. And so they won't have all the horsepower that we had, but they certainly have all the resources that they need to watch this perimeter, keep an eye on it day and night. Marin County Fire will also be out at night and during the day. I can't tell you how helpful Marin County Fire, Marin County Sheriff's Office was in this. Their pre-planning that they did, it showed. Yeah.
And last thing before I leave you be, I'm going to step back and keep my mask on. Could I just, if you're willing, I'd like to just see your face so we recognize who you are, sir.
You betcha.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, everyone's invisible and anonymous until we see you. So
That's
thank
it.
you, Chris Johnson, Operation Branch Director.
Very
Really
welcome.
appreciate your work and your time, and even doing this little video, which I'll get out to a few news stations actually. I don't know whether they'll run it, but it's valuable information. So thank you so much.
Well, I got a face for radio. They might not put it on there, you know.
Yeah, but you're real. You're like you're the real deal, man.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that, guys.
Yeah.